Robert Tokanel, and the film is Don't Judge Me. It's made with GBH News.
GBH News. Filmmaker?
Mac Hudson, born and raised in Roxbury, and the film is Massissippi.
Danny and Cheney. Our film is The Last One Show, Blood on Our Shoes. I'm also from Boston. I grew up in most of these neighborhoods in Boston, Humboldt, Grove Hall, Intervale, Academy Homes. So I know everybody's story, and that's the reason for making this documentary.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Conway. I am one of the co-producers of the Blood on Our Shoes documentary. We've been working on this documentary for 3 years. I don't know if you guys noticed, but that was Michael Bivens from New Edition. That was this documentary. He was gracious enough to bless us with his voice, presence. There's also 2 other guys that's not up here that's working on this documentary with us that they're kind of shy to be up here, but I want to give a shout out to Darius Hines and Steve Coachman. Thank you guys. Thank everyone for coming out.
Any more directors? That's it? I would like to Mr. Rahim to speak first. That would be on your film. Tell us a little about your process in jail and what your organization that you have that is in the making right now.
Well, Mac Hudson, I want to give kudos to him for the film, and he went around and gathered us together. Relative to myself, out here trying to do the best I can with working with youth coming out of prison. My journey right now is about trying to get my parole terminated, so that's my project right now. But overall, what I said in the film pretty much gives the story, but we're open to questions. So if you have a question specifically, I'd be glad to answer.
We're definitely going to get to that in a minute. We just want to get some introductions here. Introduce yourself and your organization.
Stacy Borden, I'm the Executive Director of New Beginnings Reentry Services. We help individuals come out of, well, we do a lot. We help people come out of prison and help them reinvent themselves. We fight for rights. We sit in the State House and really fight for legislation to change these draconian bills.
Okay.
People need to be free.
How everybody doing? Thank y'all for coming. The energy, just being from Boston, I felt it. I'm from Boston, on its way. I collaborated with GBH and producer Rob, cameraman / do-it-all. And we presented Don't Judge Me basically to give insight on real life, on what it looks like to go through struggles, overcome them struggles and keep going. And that's the heart of Boston, So that's it.
My name is Greg Davis. I'm the founder and executive director of Metro Boston Alive. And I really want to say to Matt that I am so proud of you, because here's a young man that you just don't know the things he went through. And I saw myself at his age when I was incarcerated, and the things that he went through, and to come out here and to do this, it's just amazing. And to all the folks and the producers on this stage, and for all of us, it's about time they hear our stories.
And Pastor, please talk about national state and the jails that you represent.
My name is Reverend Dr. Danny Gonzalez. I'm a native Bostonian, and I commend everyone here, all of you all, and most of the chaplain in National Street Jail. I know firsthand everything, all of your lives, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have, because there's a lot of brothers still locked up, sisters too. And right now, On Saturday, I'm about to baptize about 4 brothers, and I'm also getting ready to help you all with some of your reentry programs. So.
That deserves a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. So first we wanted to figure out humanizing. So we want to talk a little bit about how do we approach humanizing from impacted by the criminal justice system. And we see that a lot of you brothers have gone through jail and have had a lot of instances and run-ins with the police. And I'd like to hear from the OGs to Onyx on how we can humanize the justice system at this point.
Humanizing the justice system, I think one of the things we're seeing now is there are guys coming out, such as Mac and others, who have had that experience of being in these prisons and coming out here and being involved in social justice. So the humanizing comes from those who are in representing humanization that allows them to see an example that's different from the stereotype. And there are a lot of young men coming out now that are putting that together, and they're involved with the criminal justice system in terms of trying to get the laws changed. They're bringing their best selves in and showing that we might have been classified as animals, but we were able to evolve because most of us got caught up young. So we were in the system. The main thing that humanized us in the system was ourselves. Recognizing our humanity. Older guys were always there, Greg and others were always available to get you to see more of yourself than you thought you was. And so we ended up interacting with each other, teaching each other, learning from each other, and recognizing that there's more to us than the labels that were put on us. So humanizing the criminal justice system, I think, the greater part of that is those who have been in the criminal justice system coming out and showing and proving that we evolve. Amen. That we evolve.
Thank you for that. One thing that struck me in Onyx's film was his getting the opportunity to take his ankle bracelet off his leg. That was a great space, but I really want to know, how do you take that ankle bracelet off your mind? Talk to us.
That's a great question, first off, because it's not just the cages that keep us locked in, incarcerated. A lot of it, most situations, whether you're in prison or not, is mental. So for me, my release was before I even came out of prison. I was already working on the stuff I wanted to do. So I just physically had the ankle bracelet. But freedom, it starts with the mind. It starts with when you think with no ceilings, you know, and that's just how I think.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Now, I just wanted to get back to the directors for a second, because one of the things about films that are about incarceration and things that deal with the justice system, have you faced any challenges in getting support or distribution for your work?
Well, in my case, I worked for a newsroom already, and so this was made in the context of us working on what was initially sort of a radio and digital series about what it's like for people in Massachusetts coming out of the prison system and readjusting. And so we publish on YouTube, and we have things that we put on television.
Yeah.
And we kind of had the place to put it already, so it wasn't necessarily, it was more about thinking how we wanted to tell that story in the context of video when we had been doing it in other formats.
Right, so coming from a big organization, it does look like it's a lot easier to do such things. Is that what you're?
It's easier to distribute for us because we had, there is a distribution method. I would say in this case, we had not typically our newsroom, we're doing local stories, we're doing radio, and we don't really have a long history of doing 28-minute broadcast length specials, especially about one person. So I think there was some, like I said, it does take some work in, advocating for the value of the story that you're telling in order for the piece to become what it eventually became. Because I think when we started, it was, let's do some profiles of people who have been in the system and hear what it's like from them. And then when I met Onyx and when we started doing this, I think one of the first things that we shot was this scene that's in the cemetery. And that was like day 2, maybe. And I was like, there's so much here. This shouldn't be 3 minutes. It shouldn't be 4 minutes that just says, this is who I am, and I've been out for a year and I'm wearing this ankle monitor. And so just kind of kept going. I said, let's just keep at it for a long time. And so sort of had to build on, build some internal willingness to keep riding that out, to tell a larger story.
Interesting. Okay. Next thing I want to know about from another director, if they want to talk a little bit about the same situation.
So for us,
Distribution.
yeah, well for us, just creating the film, and I don't think we thought in terms of like mass distribution, right? So let me first say, for creating, we had to really try to organize funding, and some of the funding we got came from a reparation initiative that was sponsored by the mayor's office, so we was able to get at least some funding and then raise funding to kind of, shoot this film. And, without the help of my editor, Nate, who really understood my vision about what I was trying to convey, the film probably wouldn't have been as impactful, right? And so as we started thinking about that in terms, we started hosting, I think, our first community session at the Reggie Lewis Center, which was largely received by everyone that attended. But then we was shortly thereafter, we was accepted into the film festival. Therefore, we couldn't really think about distribution after that because of the clause of us not being able to show it anywhere else or what have you. But other than that, when I think of distribution now, it's like we don't have the ability to distribute it in the way that I would love to see it aired. So what we're doing is we're entering into a bunch of film festivals and gaining exposure about the issue, and in hopes that people start to really understand that there's a larger struggle going on, but also a history that's lost, right? That no one's talking about, that happens to us every single day behind that wall.
I guess to add to that, we don't really know where this film's going to go yet. This is actually our first festival screening. It's the first time we've shown it to a large audience. So yeah, it's an open playing field as far as like where we take this. We're figuring that out as we go.
That's very good. Do you have something to say?
So we have a distribution. We actually have a distribution deal with 1919 distribution, which is going to more than likely show our documentary on Tubi. But it was a struggle. We had connected with a lot of people. Like, I don't know if you guys know Ayana B. She was one of the people that was very influential in connecting those dots and helping us get that distribution deal.
Anyone else got something to say?
One of the things that has to happen first, the justice has to come from within us. And what I mean by, I tell most of the guys that's coming out when they come see me, is like, if you ever seen a drawbridge, it can only be opened from the inside, whether it be turning a knob or pressing a button. And most of us has put all kinds of hurt, pain, whatever in that bridge. And we've been carrying that stuff for a very long time. And until we begin to unwind that bridge and let it come down slowly, we won't understand what freedom really is. We won't know what happiness is, okay? And so I try to tell young people and even folks who I deal with that are older, we have to become historians. Because once we know history, we won't fall into those traps. And even though 10 Block, Maxine, Bridgewater, all the places that they sent me, it did not break me because I already knew what I needed to do. That just because I was in the penitentiary, it did not make me less than a man. And that's what we have to understand. But I also said, you saw the film, I was still shedding skins, and I've been home for 40-something years. Because it didn't have me institutionalized, but it did damage me in a lot of ways. And a lot of guys come out and they don't know how to say to people how they're feeling. And so they hold it. And I'm gonna end it like this. 80 to 90% of all people in the penitentiary, especially men of color, there is some kind of alcohol or other drugs connected to that because they're all the same. The passion of murder was only because the hurt was going on, whoever was being hurt, and they added it with some substance. You know, I'm so proud of this brother here. I was in tears, man, because you just showed me what young people need to understand, that you can make it out here. You know what I mean? You're right. It didn't matter about that because you knew what you wanted to do. And eventually that was going to come off you anyway.
So dig this, ladies and gentlemen. The current recidivism rate has dropped on an average of 3% in the past few years. What is the main reason for the drop? Depending on the state rate, is currently now 18 to 58%.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm the only woman up here. I just realized that. That's right. So first, let me just give a shout out to Mac and Sally. Without you, really, you could have picked any woman. You know what I mean, Mac? And you really gave that energy when we spoke at the city for the reparations for that grant. And him and I just kind of flowed on the reality of what happens with this prison environment. Recidivism rate was 97% 2010. 97 in Massachusetts. 3% is because there's so many of us out here. There's so many institutions, university institutions, that are really being a part of helping people incarcerated and formerly incarcerated become educated. And then we have a lot of us. Let me just name some of our organizations that are all formerly incarcerated. Let me just start off with my mentor, Andrea James, who, by the way, is running for governor. We need to step in these spaces because we can, right? She has the National Council for Incarcerated, Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. She has Families for Justice as Healing. We have Joseph Bennett, who has Yard Time Entertainment. We have Mac Hudson, who has Access Mass. We have Ruth Rollins, who have We Are Better Together Foundation. I mean, there's a lot of us out here that we're just pulling one by one, saying everybody that comes out, or even everybody that's in, we zoom in to the prisons in the evening and give our brothers and sisters hope. Give them experience, let them know how many resources we have out there. There is no reason, there's no solution with this type of racist, structural racist system to continue to just funnel us into cages, no matter what your transgression is. We spend $296,000 just in Framingham per woman per year. $330,000 in Shirley Medium per male per year. We're talking about $800 million a year to hold somebody in prison. We could do much better. We need housing. We need education. We need our Boston public schools to be better. That type of tax money that you all are paying can do better to humanize an individual than to continue to cause the harm that we're causing, putting them in prison and causing that type of harm. I don't think people know what happens in them prison environments.
Very good, thank you.
I want to speak on that. She's right. We have over $800 million a year going out of our tax pocket into the criminal justice system. These films need to be shown as often as soon as possible, because the more people are educated about the conditions that we continue to live under, the better chances, like my brother just said, the history has a better chance of not repeating itself. Unfortunately, I have a young brother just the other day, man. I've been ministering to this man, I baptized him, just got a bit, was sitting in National Street Jail for 6 years just to go to trial. Ended up getting here life without parole. Our role, my role as a chaplain, is to help organizations like you all to work cooperatively to help people stay out of jail. But more importantly, not going there in the first place. I just wrote a program, just wrote my dissertation. It is titled Setting the Captives Free. It is about creating an entrepreneurial program for those who have formerly incarcerated and helping them become self-sustaining. We must be free, as my brother said, in your mind. You can be locked up all day long. You can be walking around outside, but if you are free in your mind, because all you got to do is go down to Mass and Cass and see people walking around outside that are still incarcerated mentally. But until we grasp the reality of the moment and set ourselves free, we won't be free.
Exactly. Anybody else? Anybody? Mr. Rahim? Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say I work for an organization, Visions for the Future, and that's working out of TE, that's Teen Empowerment. And so when we're working with the young men, one of the things that I'm cognizant of, being 72 years old, that the other mentors who have also done life sentences, they are young enough to be my children. And then the youth that we work with, that's grandchildren. But the thing that I'm becoming more cognizant of is that first wave of drugs in the 70s, the 60s and the 70s, produced addicts that had children. And those children didn't have the church background, grandmothers, so on and so forth. So what I'm finding out is there's been generational degeneration. And these young people haven't even had the resource, the environment to even know what to do and how to be. So I'm so glad to see more and more organizations where there are guys that have been in prison, are able to reach them and talk to them and let them know they've been there, done that. Single female head of household. I come out of Mission Hill Projects, and I just saw that this wave that's been going on needs to be addressed by all of us. So he won't let me keep the mic, so I'm going to see him take a couple of steps with me. But what I'm going to stop here because they tell me often that I get along with that. I don't know why they say it, but they do say it. But what I would like him to do, if he could, real quick, give the mic to about 4 of you all, because I'd like to know what you all think about what you saw. I don't know if he's going to do it, but
he's already trying to do my job. This is out to the folks. Very good. Thank you. Questions from the audience?
You're not just inspiring.
Talking to the mic.
You're not just inspiring people that have struggled in similar situations, but you're inspiring everybody. I want to applaud you guys just for
Take it easy.
for deciding to live. Because sometimes when you go through really hard time, you have to decide if you're going to sink or swim with your situation in jail. And so you're going to inspire other people that you can just keep living and even stay in the game. And for you, I think God has something big for you, and that's why there's all these roadblocks that keep coming up. But I applaud the way that you're handling it, because that's just the enemy, and we got to get the prayer warriors on your behalf, because God overrides man every time.
Thank you very much.
Just introduce myself. My name is Maddie D. I'm a workforce development professional. I started under Kevin White's administration. I'm a Boston delegate for the Democratic Party. So I basically, as a workforce development professional, I've been in the position of working with mass incarcerated, institutionalized systems. I'll put it that way. I have gone into Suffolk County House of Correction because as a workforce development professional, I do resumes, cover letters, interviewing skills, and I also refer the young men and women to a place called Tailored for Success where they can get dressed for their interviews. But I also talk to the young men and women in Suffolk County House of Correction on when they are coming out, because these are individuals who are almost done with their institutional incarceration. But we know that the industrial complex is going to keep growing. It is inevitable.
Yes.
But we have to teach our young generation, Gen Z, Gen X, XPP, whoever, that they cannot know our history. We need to talk to them about who we are, the ancestors. Talk about the history. Teach them, because they don't know. But I'll say this and then I'll stop, because I can go on all day about this. But I'm going to stop and just say that I applaud, I commend all of you. And Stacey, you know I love you. God is good. And the fact that I'm a living witness to the fact that I retired in 21 at 71 under Mayor Wu's administration. But I didn't stop working. I said I wanted to work until I was 90. But the isolation, the trauma, and all the other drama, I said, no, I'm not going to be locked in my house. I can't go on vacation. But the fact of it is, I still work in the community. And I still know how to serve the community, because I'm a servant of God. He's the one who's ordering my steps. But all of you is amazing. Keep teaching our young people. When you see them on the street smoking weed and vaping, talk to them. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much.
I'd just like to thank all of you for being able to tell your story. But we all have to understand that everything that we do when we stand up in a room is political. And if you don't know how to cross through the political system, we can never pull it together. We have programs all over the city, but nobody is talking to anybody. I didn't know about you, I just know Greg. I probably know a few other people here because I have been a clinician in this city in substance abuse for 57 years. I have worked in the criminal justice system in the trial court for 20 years. I worked at Dearman Community Health Center for 28 years. And so I know a lot of you. I know your problem, and I know the problems that we all have. And it's passed down and it's passed up. And we have to begin to figure out and do a whole lineage thing to figure out where the stumbling came in each person's life. That's part of treatment and it's part of social consciousness.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Last question. Thank you very much. Last question.
I just want to say, great job, everybody here. Adidas Park brought me back. I knew this was going to be a powerful afternoon. I had no idea.